There is a lot of talk and speculation about exposing a narcissist and what happens when the narcissist knows that you know that they're a narcissist, but most narcissists don't know that they're a narcissist, and many of them aren't conscious of the reasons that they do the things they do. So if a narcissist could tell you the truth about how they perceive what it is they don't want you to know, what would they say? Welcome to Looking Behind the Mirror, where we explore narcissism and take our lives back as we make sense out of nonsense. As a quick disclaimer, everything I say is based on my opinions and my personal experiences. I'm not a professional, and if you're really struggling, I encourage you to seek professional help. I am providing links below for you. I wanted to make this video to kind of demystify the narcissism of narcissism and make simple what it is that narcissists are hiding from you and what many of them are actually hiding from themselves. Many things that narcissists are hiding from other people are things that they don't want to acknowledge themselves, things they don't want to look at, things they want to pretend aren't real. And this is really a big part of the reason that they don't want to talk about these things, they don't want to acknowledge these things, and they certainly don't want you figuring them out. So the first thing that a narcissist usually doesn't want you to know anything about is what they're doing, like the actual physical things that they're doing in their day-to-day lives. They might be cheating on you, they might be leading a double life, they might just be telling lies about where they're going, what they're doing, what kind of job they have, whether or not they have a job, who their friends are, what their hobbies are. I mean, there is no limit to the types of things that narcissists can cover up and lie about that pertain to their day-to-day lives. I can tell you, if you have been in a relationship with an actual pathological narcissist, you probably have no idea what it is they spent a lot of their time doing. There is a lot about the narcissist that you probably don't know and you probably never will know. Narcissists like to isolate themselves in their own little world. They really do not feel any kind of obligation to share anything they don't want to share with you. So they feel entitled to lead a double life if that's what they want to do, or to cheat on you, or to say they're going to school when they're really spending all day somewhere else. They feel entitled to their privacy. I mean, that's how they look at it. This is their sovereignty. This is their autonomy. It's none of your business what they're doing in their private life. And it's okay for them to lie to you if that's what they need to do to be able to live the life that they feel entitled to live. So if you start to figure out that they're lying to you about their day-to-day activities, this will really blow a hole in the middle of this life that they've constructed for themselves and this life that they feel entitled to. So they are not going to feel sorry. They're probably going to be really angry that you ruined all their plans, that you ruined their perfect life, the way they had it set up, by being nosy and nosing around in their private business and figuring out what it was they were actually doing. So if you're somebody that's ever had the misfortune of discovering things that the narcissist has been hiding from you in their day-to-day life, you might have the added shock of seeing how they react and how they will actually turn it around on you and get angry at you, be completely unrepentant, and blame you like you're the one that did something wrong by uncovering whatever it is they were hiding from you. Now, the next thing that a narcissist doesn't want you to know about is what they did. So they may be living a double life in the present, or maybe they're just covering up smaller things in their present day life, but they also have an entire life history, probably, unless they've known you their entire life. They probably have a whole life history that existed before they knew you. And one thing that many narcissists have in common is they are not forthcoming about their past. They will either make things up, embellish the past, lie about their achievements, their education, their career, their friends, or they won't talk about it at all. This is another example of something they feel entitled to. They feel entitled to their private life, to their autonomy, their sovereignty, and that includes lying to you about their past if that's what they feel like doing, if that's what serves their needs today. They feel like they have the right to do that because what does it matter if it's in the past? It can be whatever they want it to be now, but they don't want you to know the truth about their past if it doesn't serve what they want today. So if they feel like they need to tell you some story about how terrible their ex was to them and how their ex cheated on them and stole all their money, and they feel like that's what they need to do to manipulate you into giving them what they want, they feel totally entitled to inventing this history that will get them what they want today. And I think this is a really common example of what many of them will do. They will twist the truth about their past relationships and tell blatant lies about what their ex did, or make gross exaggerations about the problems and where the problems in the relationship were coming from. Narcissists will also make up sob stories, not just about their ex, but all kinds of things, reasons that they didn't get some job they wanted, reasons that they didn't graduate from school, or reasons that they don't see their kids anymore, all kinds of horrible things that have happened to them that are usually totally manufactured or extremely exaggerated. And they may also be hiding things. Maybe they have a criminal record, or maybe they've just done really horrible things. Maybe they have children that they don't want you to know about. There's all kinds of things in their past that don't serve them today, and they don't feel like you have any right to know about those things unless it's going to get them sympathy, attention, or make it easier for them to manipulate you. Narcissists do not feel like they owe you the truth about anything. They do not feel this kind of obligation, and they feel really put out and like you're being controlling if you feel like they should tell you these sorts of things if you're going to enter into a serious relationship with them. The next thing that a narcissist doesn't want you to know about is how they really feel. I should say that this is with the exception of anger. When a narcissist feels angry, they don't seem to have any trouble letting you know that they're angry. But what about other types of feelings? Narcissists are plagued by feelings of insecurity. Narcissists are scared of being exposed for who they imagine they actually are. Narcissists are actually very weak, frightened, fragile people, and they don't want you to know that. They also feel extremely entitled to anything they want, and most of them have enough sense to know that they've got to hide that a little bit if they're going to be able to get what they feel entitled to out of you. Many narcissists are extremely vindictive, but they usually want to appear to be the victim or the hero, so they'll hide that as well. They don't want other people to see how petty, mean, ruthless, and vindictive they actually can be, because that'll ruin the narrative that helps them get what they want out of people that they know. Narcissists can also be extremely indifferent, and if they're in a stage in the relationship where they're trying to love bomb you or manipulate you or paint a picture of themselves for you, they might not want you to see how indifferent they can be. And by indifferent, I mean when it comes to the relationship that they have with you, they really couldn't care less. When it comes to your feelings and your future and your welfare, they couldn't care less. They're completely indifferent to what happens to you, how you feel, how healthy the relationship is, where the relationship's going, all these things. And while they try to paint themselves as somebody that really cares about you, cares about your future, cares about your feelings, they are so disconnected from this that sometimes it's really difficult for them to fake this, because part of them doesn't even really understand what it means. And you might see this indifference come out when you least expect it. Like maybe you've lost someone in your life, maybe somebody passed away, and all of a sudden you realize that your partner is completely indifferent, like just does not care, isn't willing to offer you any support, doesn't seem sympathetic or empathetic at all. Or maybe something's going wrong in the relationship. I mean, how could that ever happen, right? And when the relationship starts to suffer and you're trying to repair the relationship, you're trying to build it up and make it healthy, you realize that your partner doesn't seem to care. Your partner seems really indifferent to whether or not the relationship succeeds or whether or not you're doing things that feed the health of the relationship. And that's because narcissists are very indifferent to anything that isn't immediately serving their ego and making them look the way they want to look. Two other ways that narcissists feel that they don't want you to know about that will be expressed as anger are hurt and guilt. Now, yes, narcissists do feel some form of guilt sometimes because they are aware that they are doing things wrong. but they will immediately justify what they've done, rationalize it, make excuses for it, twist it around to blame it on you, and they will get very angry at these feelings of guilt that might creep up. They squash them as fast as they can because they cannot handle any kind of accountability or any form of responsibility for the problems they've caused in their life. So any little feelings of guilt that might creep up for them, they are going to immediately squash those, and they're going to hide it from you by getting really angry. And they'll do the same thing if they feel hurt. One of the main points of narcissism is to protect the narcissist from allowing other people to hurt them. So narcissists, if they do feel any kind of hurt, they are immediately going to squash it and express it as anger before they are even consciously aware of it usually. The next thing that a narcissist doesn't want you to know about is how vulnerable they actually are. Most narcissists have a really strong facade. Some narcissists can seem really vulnerable, like a victim type narcissist, but even those types of narcissists are putting on a show. They are showing you the vulnerability that they've manufactured, that they want you to see, that adds to this show, this narrative, this act that they're putting on. They're never going to show you their true vulnerability. And an overt narcissist that seems very confident and domineering, I mean, they're certainly not going to show you any kind of vulnerability, manufactured or not, unless it's very selectively done in a way that will manipulate you in a moment of weakness, or maybe in a moment where you suddenly start to realize something. You might see some sort of manufactured fake vulnerability, but a narcissist doesn't want you to see how much they actually need you, how desperately dependent they are on you for external validation or supply. Narcissists are soft, weak, vulnerable, insecure, scared people that need narcissistic supply to get from minute to minute. They need this from you, and they hate you for how much they need this from you. They hate how dependent they are on you, and it's the last thing that they want you to realize. A lot of them will spend a lot of time trying to manipulate you into feeling like you need them, and a lot of them are really successful at doing that. But at the end of the day, really, they're the ones that cannot function without you or somebody that's giving them external validation. And they do not want you to see this because they don't want you to realize that you have had the upper hand all along, that they need you much more than you will ever need them. And just a word of warning for all the external validation that you provide for them that they need so badly. Not only do they hate you for that, they are not grateful, and they never will be, and there is absolutely nothing in it for you. There is no reason for you to stick around with a narcissist because of how much they emotionally need you, because these are emotional vampires that will suck you dry with no gratitude whatsoever. They will be annoyed with you when you just don't have anything left to give them anymore, and they will discard you like a piece of garbage. So do not fall into the trap of thinking that there's any sort of gratitude or recognition on their part for all the things that you provide for them and everything that you try to do for them, because there is none. There's nothing for you there. Another thing that a narcissist doesn't want you to know is how they really feel about you. Now, in the beginning of the relationship, many narcissists actually do believe that they're in love because they are idealizing you, because they are convincing themselves that they've finally found the answer to their prayers. They've finally found the perfect soulmate that will solve all their problems and make them feel wonderful and give them constant supply for the rest of all eternity. But of course, with a narcissist, this image that they build up in their head of who you are and what you're going to be for them is so impossible to live up to, and it's something that they have their heart set on now. They think that this is who you're presenting yourself as, even though it's really something they're imagining in their head. So the first time you show any sign of not being this perfect, fake, manufactured, idealized person that they've made up in their head, they will never forgive you for that. They perceive that as you betraying them, you pretending to be something that you never were. And when that happens, They usually don't really want you to realize how they really feel. They don't want you to know that they don't really love you. They don't really care about you. They don't really care about your feelings. They see you as an object that they own. They see you as an extension of themselves. They don't see you as a sovereign, autonomous person. They don't care about your dreams or your needs or anything that you care about. And some of them will certainly have moments where they will say and do things that make this kind of obvious, but most narcissists don't want you to know how they really feel about you if they're still depending on you for anything. So a lot of them will just kind of go along with things. They'll let you keep believing that they really love you, really care about you, because any alternative would really seem unconscionable. So in a lot of cases, they don't really need to lie about this, or they don't need to lie too much. You know, they just kind of need to go along with the narrative and not correct you if you ever say anything about how much they care or how much they love you or anything like that. Because if you knew the truth about how the narcissist sees you as replaceable, as stupid, or stupider than them at least, inferior, needy, demanding, nagging. I mean, they will see you as being a needy, demanding, nagging person if you have any needs at all. If you could really see into the narcissist's mind and see how they really feel about you, you would probably have a much easier time breaking off the relationship. You'd have a much easier time walking away from them and ignoring them when they try to hoover you back into the relationship. And so that's one thing the narcissist doesn't want you to figure out. They don't want you to figure out that they've been manipulating you, lying to you, and pretending to feel ways about you that they don't feel. And this ties into the last thing that a narcissist does not want you to understand, and that is how much power you have. And how much they actually fear and dread being exposed, how much they fear and dread you seeing them for who they imagine they really are. A lot of us spend a lot of time trying to think of how we can get back at a narcissist, get revenge on a narcissist, or get our point across to the narcissist, or make the narcissist sorry for what they've done to us. But there is nothing more devastating to a narcissist than to see somebody that they once controlled walk away, ignore them, and thrive without them. There is nothing more difficult for a narcissist to accept than to see that you don't need them and that you're actually better off without them and that they are actually the one that needed you all along. When you leave a narcissist and you ignore them and you stop engaging with them and you stop trying to get them to see things your way and you stop treating them as if their opinion matters to you anymore, you force them to live without the supply that you've been giving them, without all the things that they've been dependent on you for. You force them to live in their vulnerability, or to find a replacement really fast. You don't need a narcissist in your life. They work very hard to create these trauma bonds and manipulate you into feeling like you are in love with them and you can't live without them. But the truth is, the narcissist is the one who can't live without you. And that is the last thing that they want you to know. I hope this helps. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment below any ideas you have for me for future videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like this video and would like to see more like it in the future. Until next time, thanks. Bye.